Okay, we're just going to work through a few examples from these graphing inequalities, but specifically graphing compound inequalities and writing them in interval notation. So, some of the examples. It says write each compound inequality in interval notation. In order to write it in interval notation, it is highly recommended to first graph the compound inequalities. So, with the first one, we'll do the most obvious and put the numbers on the number line in numerical order. The suggestion was to focus in on the second part of the compound inequality. So this is telling me at the 8, I'll put a bracket facing the right. So there's my first symbol. And if one symbol faces right, the other, by default, faces to the left. Because there's no equal, we'll put a parentheses. Parentheses to the left. And now we can see we're working with a disjunction. So we'll have to add in the infinities to fill in everything we need for the interval notation. So the first interval notation will have our negative infinity to -7. The second will have the 8 to the positive infinity, utilizing the symbols that we've already established. And now we just put the union symbol. There's our interval notation. Next one, again, we'll draw a number line, place our numbers 4 and 13. Again, please note the numbers are written in numerical order. 13 is on the right side of 4, so we're not just placing them in the order written in the compound inequality. We'll highlight the second part of it. So that means our first symbol will be placed at the 4, parentheses going to the right, which means at the 13, the symbol has to go to the left. Here, another parentheses. Here we can see we have a conjunction. So our interval notation is coming directly off of the number line. Open parentheses 4, 13, close parentheses. The third example, -10 and -1 placed on the number line. Focus in on the second half. So our first symbol will be placed at the -1, a bracket pointing to the left. So therefore a closed bracket. So by default, at the -10, another bracket going to the right. Again, another conjunction. So our interval notation will come directly off the number line. Fourth example, draw a number line, again the 6 and the 20 in numerical order. Focus in on the second half. Our first symbol will be a bracket going to the left at the 6. There's our bracket. So therefore, the symbol we put at the 20 has to go to the right. According to the inequality, we will be putting a parentheses. So we can see that this will be a disjunction. So we add in our infinities, the negative and the positive infinity. So we have the information we'll use to create our two interval notations. First one, -infinity to 6 with a closed bracket, and open parentheses 20 to the positive 8, positive infinity, connecting with the union symbol. Last example. There's our number line with the two values, -19 and -7. Focus in on the last portion. So our first symbol will go at the -7, a parentheses pointing to the right. There we go. And so therefore the symbol here has to point to the left, and we're using a parentheses. Another disjunction. Place our infinities, and we have the values for our interval notation. First one, -infinity to -19 with a closed parentheses, then an open parentheses, -7, positive infinity. So there's just a few examples on how to take a compound inequality and write it in interval notation.